Okay guys, I'm going to do something a little different. We're going to do a let's play. I haven't done one so far on this channel and I've been meaning to, and the first game I wanted to play is a little old actually. It's 5 years old, which I find hard to believe at this point. Dear Esther, I've seen a few let's plays on this game and I'm fascinated with these kind of alternative genres. Dear Esther is kind of one of these environment simulator type games. So to give you the background on this, some people have kind of compared it to something like Gone Home, in that it's not a conventional game, but without the social justice and the progressivism and the lesbians. There are no lesbians that we know of. So, Dear Esther is a first-person video game developed by the Chinese Room. So I'm reading this from Wikipedia. It's on the Mac and Windows and Linux, and it first came out in 2008, but it was remastered and redeveloped entirely with the Source engine in 2012. And it says it's spurning traditional game design. Dear Esther features virtually no puzzles or tasks. The player's only objective is to explore an unnamed island in the Hebrides, listening to a troubled man read a series of letters to his deceased wife. So it's a very emotional story. Details of a mysterious death are revealed as the player moves throughout the island. And a lot of people feel that this game, you can probably finish it each path in about an hour. It's 3 paths. Each path that you take is a different starting point and reveals a different set of letters, diary entries, what have you, revealing more about the story. And people feel that it's an interesting way of spending an hour. I got this game for $10, and I think it's a fair price given the effort that was put into the game. Though there's not a huge amount of gameplay here, hopefully it can nevertheless make for a memorable hour of gameplay and something that people will come back to for some replay value with the other paths. So some reviewers challenge the status of Dear Esther, it says here, as a video game, citing the minimal gameplay as a step away from convention. It received a generally positive critical reception. The game was released for the PlayStation 4, I didn't know that, and the Xbox One in September of 2016, hence the reason why I'm getting around to playing it now, though I am playing it on the Mac. It's only really enjoyed a kind of resurgence in interest recently, which is the reason why I wanted to play it. So let's go ahead and see. There are right, so there's actually 4 different places where we can start from. Let's see, there's no other. Okay, so let's just go with the first one. So this is the lighthouse. Play this chapter, yes. So a lot of people at the time praised the graphics. Again, it uses the Source engine. They've dated now, but they're certainly acceptable. I don't think they look ugly or anything. As it says here, gameplay is minimal. The only object being to explore an uninhabited Hebridean island. Oh, here we go.
I sometimes feel as if I've given birth to this island. Somewhere between the longitude and latitude, a split opened up, and it beached remotely here. No matter how hard I correlate, it remains a singularity. An alpha point in my life that refuses all hypothesis. I return each time leaving fresh markers that I hope, in the full glare of my hopelessness, will have blossomed into fresh insight in the interim.
I'm getting a little bit of a frame rate drop there now and again. Might just be because I'm recording. I played a small amount of this, I will confess, briefly, a few weeks ago, and I've been meaning to play it fully and really give the game its due. So I didn't turn on that torch, by the way. It just came on automatically when the room got dark. You know, I like adventure games in general. I was a huge fan of the Tex Murphy game series, and I guess something in this and Gone Home interested me, although Gone Home is not a game I like very much. I think they did a good job with the atmosphere, but you're just getting beaten over the head with BS progressive messages, and of course the game is far too easy to finish. But nevertheless, I thought it was an interesting attempt. So the detail of the graphics, yeah, I mean, it's pretty standard for the time, 2012. So it's a slow-moving game, by all accounts. I'm just going to walk up this hill. All right, so what can we see? It's still very pretty. I mean, it's very detailed. I mean, again, if you're someone who likes fast-paced action games, I mean, this is just not something you're
Donnelly
going to enjoy.
reported the legend of the hermit, a holy man who sought solitude in its most pure form. Allegedly, he rode here from the mainland in a boat without a bottom, so all the creatures of the sea could rise at night to converse with him. How disappointed he must have been with their chatter. Perhaps now, when all that haunts the ocean is the rubbish dumped from the tankers, he'd find more peace. They
Can't
say
go
he
any
threw his
further.
arms wide in a valley on the south side, and the cliff opened up to provide him shelter. They say he died of fever 116 years later. The shepherds left gifts for him at the mouth of the cave, but Donnelly records they never claimed to have seen him. I have visited the cave and I have left my gifts, but like them, I appear to be an unworthy subject of his solitude.
Okay, I've fallen. Oh, I think I've broken my legs. Not sure if that was the right path to take, but I couldn't go any further. Right, so this guy, he recants the tale of another, I guess, an explorer or a hermit who lived on the island called Donnelly. Perhaps someone who was stranded here. I don't know as to the... Oh, I can zoom in with the right mouse button. I don't know as to what the reason why this character is here. Whether he was just kind of went nutty and decided to go to an island after his wife died. But obviously, we start to hear more and more about the history of this place. Now, from what I understand, if I just walk into the water, you die, but it resets it.
At night, you can see the lights sometimes from a passing tanker or trawler. From up on the cliffs, they are mundane. But down here, they fugue into ambiguity. For instance, I cannot readily tell if they belong above or below the waves. The distinction now seems banal. Why not everything and all at once? There's nothing better to do here than indulge in contradictions whilst waiting for the fabric of life to unravel.
Sounds like this guy's been here too long. What's this? He's been doodling. Is it possible to run and move faster? I'm not sure. I hope this isn't a dead end, because I'm going to have to go all the way back.
Dear Esther, I found myself to be as featureless as this ocean, as shallow and unoccupied as this bay, a listless wreck without identification. My rocks are these bones, and a careful fence to keep the precipice at bay.
Oh, wonderful. It is a
Shot
dead
through
end.
me caves. My forehead a mount. This aerial will transmit into me so. All overexposed, the nervous system, where Donnelly's boots and yours and mine still trample. I will carry a torch for you. I will leave it at the foot of my headstone. You will need it for the tunnels that carry me under.
I have no idea what you're saying, dude, but whatever you're having, that's... Yeah, okay. Alright, so we'll go back down the other side of the beach. Sorry about that detour. It was a dead end after all. Yeah, I mean, basically what you're doing is you're exploring different parts of the island in the hopes of just triggering another audio file, really, isn't it? And that's, I mean, I don't want to be really super crass about it, but it's not to say that it can't be an intriguing journey, nonetheless. I like how the waves lap up against the shore, it's pretty cool. Alright. Here we go again. Is there a jump? Jump would be really useful. Okay, how did I do this last
A
time?
wonderful sight. The moon cresting the junction between the cliff path and the stone circle. It cast a shadow of the ridge across the beach, all the world as if you had signed your name in untidy handwriting.
Alright. I've been up here before and I didn't trigger that audio file. Maybe they're timed or something. I don't know. I suppose this is the kind of game where you play it the first time, you will miss stuff. You're not going to get the whole picture. I'm sure they set it up that way.
When someone had died or was dying, or was so ill they gave up what little hope they could sacrifice, they cut parallel lines into the cliff, exposing the white chalk beneath.
Oh, of course I see what he's talking about.
You could see them from the mainland or the fishing boat, and know to send aid or impose a cordon of protection, and wait a generation until whatever pestilence stalked the cliff paths died along with its hosts. My lines are just for this, to keep any would-be rescuers at bay. The infection is not simply of the flesh.
He's got an infection? Is he dying? Is my character dying?
I quote directly, a motley lot with little to recommend them. I have now spent 3 days in their company. That is, I fear, enough for any man not born amongst them. Despite their tedious inclination to quote scripture, they seem to me the most godforsaken of all the inhabitants of the Outer Isles.
Who?
Indeed, in this case, the very gravity of that term, forsaken by God, seems to find its very apex. It appears to me that Donnelly, too, found those who wander this shoreline to be adrift from any chance of redemption. Did he include himself in that, I wonder?
So this island makes people go crazy? Yeah, but if you've got all these inhabitants, what are they, monks or something? There's a group of hermits here, religious people, is that what you're saying? And you joined them for some reason, and Donnelly was there. What happened to them? Did you kill them all? 'Cause I don't see them. Maybe my character snapped and just...
Dear Esther, I met Paul. I made my own little pilgrimage. My Damascus, a small semi-detached on the outskirts of Wolverhampton.
Okay.
We drank coffee in his kitchen and tried to connect to one another. Although he knew I hadn't come in search of an apology, reason or retribution, he still spiraled in panic, thrown high and lucid by his own dented bonnet. Responsibility had made him old. Like us, he'd already passed beyond any conceivable boundary of life.
So he's talking... I've heard this, so he's a little bit... he gets a little esoteric, shall we say. So he begins to recall events that are not recent. And so that's where his mind starts to slowly go. So he's... I think, what was it, a car accident as to how his wife had died there? Someone called Paul accidentally ran over her, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. I just realized his voice kind of reminds me a little bit of someone like... I don't know. He's got a really cool quality about him, whoever the voice actor is. There's a little bit of a Colin Firth about it, I think. But to be honest, listening to it there, he kind of sounds like Harmful Opinions. Okay. Hello, Esther. Dear Esther, I want to talk to you about Candid. No. It's just a little bit. I don't know. Let's go to see these rock things. Interesting. These boulders. Maybe there'll be more audio. I like the water effect. I mean, again, there's nothing special here in terms of the graphics, but, you know, they're not god-awful either. And respectable for the time, considering this is an indie title. You have to keep that in mind. This is not a AAA big-budget title. Right. Are you going to say something here? I go over to this place? We've got stuff like this in Ireland, you know, fairy rings and stuff. Okay, what is that? That is weird. It's very alien writing. No, it doesn't seem to want to talk now. It's gone all quiet. I'm not sure if I was supposed to go down the other way. Shall we follow the water line? That's always a good way. If I was Bear Grylls, that's what I'd do. Might have been interesting if there was an immediate existential threat, like with Gone Home. Okay, I don't want to go back to that game again. I know it's terrible, but at least there was this fear that maybe the girl had killed herself you know, and it's like, oh, well, what happened? What's the mystery? You know, are we gonna find her in the attic? Is this a horror story? Are the ghosts involved? And then you realize it's a pretty mundane story, but the outcome is just really disappointing. But with this game, it might have been interesting if there was something stalking you that you know you couldn't quite. And apparently, I've heard that there is. I don't know how true this is, but there is like NPCs that you will occasionally see in the distance, but you can never get close to them, which is kind of spooky in and of itself. But I haven't seen that yet. Mind you, I don't have the resolution up particularly high to see very clearly far off objects because I'm screen recording, so I've had to drop the res a little. Let's see if we can go into this cave over here. I know I can't go out to that lighthouse, at least yet. Oh no, that's where I started, isn't it? No? Is that the same one? Or is it a different one? Jeez, I can't remember now. Okay, let's just keep going. I can't go out by that boat because you die if you go out there. I've seen other people try.
This hermit, this seer, this distant historian of bones and old bread, where
Hello.
did he vanish to? Why? Asked the farmers. Why? Asked Jakobsen. Why bother with your visions at all, if you're just to throw your arms up at the cliff and let it close in behind you and seal you into the belly of the island, a museum shut to all but the most devoted?
I gotta wonder, right, the things he's saying. Is it just gibberish, but it sounds good? You know? Is it just meaningless and you're supposed to convey a meaning within it? And actually there's nothing there. Is this another goddamn dead end? I swear. It's just vague nonsense. I'm not sure. Maybe there is a central story that I'm supposed to care about other than this man's mental breakdown. What was that? What the hell was that up there? We'll just keep going. So, according to Wikipedia, this describes it. The gameplay, dear Esther, is minimal. Right, so we're going to get another audio? The music started up again. Several of the unseen characters are referred to. Man named Donnelly. Yes, we've had that. Different fragments are played in each playthrough. Oh, this is a bird. I think that was about it. Yeah, I have to confess, I do know how this game ends. There's only one way in which this game ends. I mean, it's meant to be a sentimental journey. I'm sorry, actually, just realizing now that I have the resolution kind of low, probably lower than I need to, because I noticed that the rendering in the distance is, and there's a little bit of too much anti-aliasing going on.
I dreamt I stood in the center of the sun, and the solar radiation cooked my heart from the inside.
Oh, wow.
My teeth will curl, and my fingernails fall off into my pockets like loose change.
That's a dream.
If I could stomach, I'd eat, but all I seem capable of is salt water. Were the livestock still here, I could turn feral and gorge. I'm as emaciated as a body on a slab, opened up for a premature source of death. I've rowed to this island in a heart without a bottom, all the bacteria of my gut rising up to sing to me.
Dude. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, but that's bleak. And very descriptively bleak, I will also add. Let's see. Maybe it looks like a path through here. This definitely looks like a path, so let's hope that this is a path. I still have some kind of cold thing, some sort of allergy bullshit going on. Alright, I think we're starting to make some progress. We were kind of faffing about there with dead ends for a bit. Now I guess we move on to a different chapter, I think, when we go through here. I could be wrong. Getting dark. Oh, looks like a drop. Oh, blackness. Did I die? No, reloading something. I hope I didn't die. Alright, so it says...
Dear Esther, I have now driven the stretch of the M5 between Exeter and Bristol over 21 times. But although I have all the reports and all the witnesses, and have cross-referenced them within a millimetre using my Ordnance Survey maps, I simply cannot find the location. You'd think there would be marks to serve as some evidence. It's somewhere between the turn-off for Sanford and the welcome brake services. But although I can always see it in my rear-view mirror, I have as yet been unable to pull ashore.
That's a really weird message. So he's talked about investigating the accident after the fact, but he's like pull ashore and all this kind of stuff. It's as if the past and the present are kind of colliding for him in his mind. So just briefly here, it says, as the player explores the island, they... Okay, let me see here now. Several other unseen characters referred to by the narrator. A man named Donnelly, who charted the island in the past. Paul, who was suggested to be the drunk driver in the accident in which Esther died. And a shepherd named Jacobson, who lived on the island in the 18th century. As the player explores the island, they find the derelict remains of buildings, a shipwreck, and a cave system whose walls are adorned with images resembling chemical diagrams, circuit diagrams, neurons, and bacteria. Weird. At various points, a figure is seen walking away from the player in the distance, but it disappears before they can be reached. The identities of the characters become more blurred as the game progresses, as the narration moves between topics and narrates the characters different ways. The ambiguity of the randomly played letter fragments forces the player to draw their own conclusions of the story. This is what I mean about the esoteric nature. Again, I'm not seeing anybody, so if you happen to see anybody in the distance, let me know. But I haven't seen anybody. Right, let's go down to the shipwreck. Yeah, man, I should have had the resolution up higher. I can really see it now. It's just not very impressive. The graphics are better than what I'm displaying here, and the graphics card in this machine is more than capable of doing a lot better. I just didn't want to have to deal with slowdowns from screen recording. I'm using QuickTime, which is not it's not power hungry or anything, but it's not the most forgiving either. Sometimes when you're recording, so I'm recording the audio separately, my audio separately. Okay, so I'm down at the shipwreck. Can I get on the boat? What am I supposed to learn from this? I so want to have a gun in my hand right now. In the game, I mean. In the game. I already have a gun in my hand in the real world. Okay. Let's try and get up on the boat, shall we? Let's try and find a way up there. I mean, I can't come all this way and then there's nothing. Can I... Man, I just jump up there, but there is no jump function. It's all this stuff. So this obviously run aground. My apologies if I'm sniffling. My apologies for that. Okay, we'll go around the back of it. All right, so I can't get there. So I can't get in. That's a fantastic waste of time. Let's go around here. Does seem to be a path.
There must be a hole in the bottom of the boat. How else could new hermits have arrived?
Is that a clue? I don't seem to be able to go... Okay, there's an invisible wall there. I can't go any further. Is that a clue that I'm supposed to... Is it a suggestion? Is it? Mr. Crazy Man? Mr. Crazy Island Dweller person? Mr. Very Descriptive person with a fantastic Harmful Opinions voice? Is that where I'm supposed to go, Harmful? These boxes, these crates are a little bit reminiscent of the crates from Half-Life 2. You know, the ammo crates? And Half-Life 1, for that matter. A little bit similar. Yeah, I'm sure this is very interesting to you right now. Okay, hang on. Can I squeeze through here? No, I can't. I mean, there's no jump. That would be so useful. I mean, again, I didn't even know if that suggestion was a suggestion. I mean, it could have just been bullshit. It certainly doesn't look like there's a hole that I can get under. Alright, zero joy on that, so I'm gonna go take the high ground and take that other path up by the hill. So I'm able to get up here. It would be a kind of a nice place to visit. Not a nice place to die. Spoiler alert. Okay, decisions.
It's only at night that this place makes any sluggish effort at life. You can see the buoy and the aerial. I've been taking to sleeping through the day in an attempt to resurrect myself. I can feel the last days drawing upon me. There's little point now in continuation.
Fuck.
There must be something new to find here. Some nook or some cranny that offers a perspective worth clinging to. I've burnt my bridges. I've sunk my boats and watched them go to water.
What does it say? Something to drink? I don't know. Neither did he eat nor drink. Oh, right. Well, he talked about drinking seawater. So, I mean, that's gonna kill you. Not a good idea, dude. I'm not seeing these other characters. It would be interesting to see that, because... I don't know. This is what I meant about slow. Certainly a slow game.
I had kidney stones and you visited me in the hospital. After the operation, when I was still half submerged in anesthetic. Your outline and your speech both blurred. Now my stones have grown into an island and made their escape, and you have been rendered opaque by the car of a drunk.
I'm trying to read into that, read some kind of meaning. Is he suggesting that he can't see her face in his mind anymore? Well, dude, in fairness, you're drinking
seawater. Is this
seawater.
what Paul saw through his windscreen? Not Lot's wife looking over her shoulder, but a scar in the hillside, falling away to black forever.
Dude, I think you're looking into this a bit too much, quite honestly. Counseling would have helped. Maybe. What is that noise? Alright, looks like a few houses.
I've begun to climb, away from the sea and towards the center. It is a straight line to the summit, where the evening begins to coil around the aerial and squeeze the signals into early silence. The bothy squats against the mount to avoid the gaze of the aerial. I too will creep under the island like an animal and approach it from the northern shore.
Small stables? What the hell? Jesus. No wonder you're talking garbage. Are you shooting heroin or something? Syringes here. I don't think these guys were coming here to find themselves necessarily through religion or some sort of religious pilgrimage of some kind. I think just coming here to... I don't know. Do drugs. Is that the music or is that a noise? It's a strange animal. So, I can't be sure, maybe you can tell me, if...
The bothy was constructed originally in the early 1700s. By then, shepherding had formalized into a career. The first habitual shepherd was a man called Jakobsen, from a lineage of migratory Scandinavians. He was not considered a man of breeding by the mainlanders. He came here every summer whilst building the bothy, hoping eventually that becoming a man of property would secure him a wife and a lineage. Donnelly records that it did not work. He caught some disease from his malcontented goats and died 2 years after completing it.
Oh, bollocks.
There was no one to carve white lines into the cliff for him either.
I'm just wondering, are there genuine day-night cycle things happening here? Can you see it, or is it just getting darker with each chapter? I can't be sure. Is it getting darker? Can't be sure. Certainly the visibility is coming down. The sea looks pretty rough. I think maybe too much is left to the imagination deliberately. Okay.
Inventory. A trestle table we spread wallpaper on in our first home. A folding chair. I laughed at you for bringing camping in the lakes. I was uncomfortable later and you laughed then. This diary, the bed with the broken springs. Once asleep you have to remember not to dream. A change of clothes. Donnelly's book, stolen from Edinburgh Library on the way here.
Bread.
I will burn them all on the last morning and make an aerial of my own.
You know what, I gotta say, I think he's like a mixture of Kraut and Tea and Harmful Opinions. Is that a photograph? Looks like a photograph of an ultrasound. Huh. A lot of notes. Was this where Donnelly lived? Some music, sheets, books, and where he slept. Clothes. What's this? Yeah, see, the detail isn't really there. It would be nice if there was a few more objects that were a bit more detailed. I guess we go down here now. Can we get over there? We'll go down because it seems to be the only way. I get a feeling I'm running out of path now.
Jakobsen's ribcage, they told Donnelly, was deformed, the result of some birth defect or perhaps a traumatic injury as a child. Brittle and overblown it was, and desperately light. Perhaps it was this that finally did for him, unable to contain the shattering of his heart. In half-light, his skeleton a discarded prop, a false and calcified seabird.
I wonder what this guy did for a living. Was he a writer? I mean, with that vocabulary and, I don't know, certainly an eloquent, creative way of putting things. It's quite the word.
They found Jakobsen in early spring. The thaw had only just come. Even though he'd been dead nearly 7 months, his body had been frozen right down to the nerves and had not even begun to decompose.
Oh, squirrels.
All around him, small flowers were reaching for the weak sun. The goats had adjusted happily to life without a shepherd and were grazing freely about the valley. Donnelly reports they hurled the body in fear and disgust down the shaft, but I cannot corroborate this story.
It's the island. The environment looks to have changed slightly. I don't know. There's the guts of a boat. Is it over here? No. Yeah, it would be nice if there was like newspaper scraps or books to read or diaries or something else or something to collect as you go about your journey to add to the game. Something I don't
Climbing
think
down to the caves, I slipped and fell and have injured my leg. I think the femur is broken. It is clearly infected. The skin has turned a bright, tight pink, and the pain is crashing in on waves, winter tides against my shoreline, drowning out the ache of my stones. I struggled back to the bothy to rest, but it has become clear that there is only one way this is likely to end. The medical supplies I looted from the trawler have suddenly found their purpose. They will keep me lucid for my final ascent.
that music there got really freaking weird. Okay. So that's a nice looking cave. Is this somewhere I can go? Another chapter. His final ascent. What do you think that is? You haven't broken your legs, you have now.
Donnelly's addiction is my one true constant. Even though I wake in false dawns and find the landscape changing, flowing inconstantly through my tears, I know his reaching is always upon me.
Yeah, maybe they were doing drugs. I mean, that's what he's talking about. Oh, I didn't even do that. I wasn't even in control of that. What? He fell from there? Are you kidding? Hello, this is interesting. Pretty. Oh, that's nice. No reflection of the player in the water. That would break the illusion, Dave. Dave, that would break the illusion. Feels like I'm live streaming with kraut and tea and hot Philippines or something like that. It's like an altar almost. What is this, luminous paint everywhere? Like the graphics on a Borg ship or something. Nice music. What are these, mushrooms? They're 2D when you get up close to them, it's kind of poor. They look 3D. They look fine when you're walking, but then when you get up to them, they go 2D. Graphics just a little bit too dated, really. Oh, okay, so that looks like I can go there or in here. Oh, that's gonna make things interesting.
They'd stop the traffic back as far as the Sandford Junction and come up the hard shoulder like radio signals from another star. It took 21 minutes for them to arrive. I watched Paul time it to the second on his watch.
The emergency services. It's messed up, eh? Music's pretty good.
Haunting in a world of random letters that make no sense. One man does a shit ton of heroin and talks shit for 2 hours.
Okay, oh, hello, look at this. Glorious. Oh, wow, that is actually really beautiful.
Am I to drown here?
We'll talk more about Candid. That is gorgeous. That is quite something, isn't it? Just took a screen grab of that. That is really, really pretty. What a waterfall. Is it even possible? Part of me wants to throw myself off that, because you never know. Oh, right. I was supposed to do that. That is really gorgeous. They did a lot with this little engine. They did a lot with the graphics at the time. Didn't they? It's nice. The water effects are very respectable. I mean, it's not Fallout 4, but... Come on, not everything's AAA. Sometimes it's about the experience, you guys. Sometimes. More beauty. Spectacular beauty. Yeah, I'm very impressed. It's just very aesthetically pleasing. Okay, let's see if we can go in here. It's not slippy. That's good. It might be useful if I could do that. Really carefully watch my footing. Really carefully. Really carefully. It's kind of got narrow here, like whoa, really narrow now. This is new. Feels new. Bit of a maze, but it's very narrow. Right. Oh. Feels like an alien landscape. I mean, the interior of this island is pretty unbelievable. Wow. Oh.
I am traveling through my own body, following the line of infection from the shattered femur towards the heart. I swallow fistfuls of painkillers to stay lucid. In my delirium, I see the twin lights of the moon and the Ariel shining to me through the rocks.
Okay, where do I go now? Jeez. I have to say, they did an amazing job just producing something that's not necessarily graphically groundbreaking, but aesthetically very, very pretty. I can't... Which one are these? Stalactites or stalagmites? Which are the ones that come up to the floor? Which are the ones that come down? I don't know. The Aloe Caves have nothing on this. It's like a powdery sand. Whatever those crystals are. I don't think this is the right way, but it's the way I'm gonna go. No, I'll go back. Wow. Some serious, serious infrastructure. I mean, you could it'll provide excellent shelter in this cave. Is that a way out over there? I don't think so. I think my gut instinct was the other way, so I'll follow my instinct. Does remind me of some of the places in remember when you went to the alien world in Half-Life 1? I mean, the graphics were nothing like that, but it kind of just reminds me a little bit of Half-Life 1. Zen, the border world. Gordon Freeman. In the flesh. Or rather, in the hazard suit. Rise and shine, Mr. Freeman. What is that? Another tin of paint. I mean, one tin didn't do all this. Right. Okay. I came down from there, didn't I? Or did I? No. Holy shit balls. This crystal shit's getting pretty serious, man.
I will hold the hand you offered to me, from the summit down to this well,
Whoa.
into the dark waters where the small flowers creep for the sun. Headlights are reflected in your retinas, moonlit in the shadow of the crematorium chimney.
Oh man, I feel bad for this guy. I really do. I can't get up there, can I? No. I just wanted to rule that out as a possibility. I will continue in this direction. What happens if I jump in here? It doesn't look shallow. It is shallow. No, it's not. It's actually very deep. And I will die if I stay down here, probably. Okay, that's fine. Right, so it's down here. Sorry, over here I'm going. Right, so what does this read? Something that might be legible. Can you read that? You got me. Whoa, okay, someone went fucking insane with the delirium and the, Okay, we're entering 2001 level. You know, the bit at the end when he encounters the monolith? 2001 levels are weird now. What was that? Okay. Away from being a city. Okay, whatever you're having. And it shall be... Can't read that. Yeah, this environment definitely would have an effect on your brain, I think. I just walked through that one. But I still don't see any other characters. It says, yeah, here's there, seen a figure walking for the player in the distance. That has not happened. Alright, so swimming is obviously an important part of the game dynamic. I was not aware. Do I need to come up for air every so often or risk death? There isn't like an energy bar thing. There isn't a health. Okay, I'd like to get out of the caves, as pretty as they are. I feel like we're dragging our heels with the story here a little bit. I guess I'm just gonna fall down here, and maybe this begins the new chapter. Yes, duh. Yeah, it does. Okay. Oh, wow. I did not expect this. Can I move around? I can. Oh, wow. Look at this. So we're having some sort of flashback. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know any of this happened. Yeah, Sanford. Wherever he said it was. This is the car. So this is where the worlds are converging. So we're not, I mean, obviously this wasn't, this is some sort of dream sequence almost. Yeah, this is pretty spooky. It's pretty messed up, man. So these are the vehicles. Towards the light. Well, this game may not be your cup of tea, but at least there's no social justice in it.
Dear Esther, can't believe the pay gap's real. Darkness.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. Okay, so that's the theme song for this game. I guess, is this chapter 4? Is this the final piece? Still more caves. Good crap. I'm not sure if I'm able to go back, though I have no desire to. If I can go back to previous chapters. Don't have any interest in doing that. Ah, the moon. So yeah, okay. It looks like the day-night shifts are in between... Can't go in there. Are in between the levels, the chapters. As opposed to happening within the chapters themselves, live, in real time.
I sat here and watched two jets carve parallel white lines into the sky. They charted their course,
Yeah,
and
I
I
can
followed them
kinda
for
see them.
21 minutes until they turned off near Sanford and were lost.
There you go, yeah.
If I were a gull, I would abandon my nest and join them. I would starve my brain of oxygen and suffer delusions of transcendence. I would tear the bottom from my boat and sail across the motorways until I reached this island once again.
Get another screen grab of that. It's pretty cool. I'll put it up on Twitter or something. Ask people if they know what the game is. What game is this? Name that game. And then people go, "Oh, Dave, you're not playing Dear Esther, are you? There's no guns in that game." Disappointed we still haven't seen any other peeps. Of course, if we do see other people, it's quite possible it's just an hallucination in my mind because this character is deeply disturbed. Although I have to say, I do feel sorry for him now. I did not think I would feel anything for this fictitious character. Oh, he's put together a shrine.
Dear
Okay.
Esther, I find each step harder and heavier. I drag Donnelly's corpse on my back across these rocks, and all I hear are his whispers of guilt, his reminders, his burnt letters, his neatly folded clothes. He tells me I was not drunk at all.
Look. Is that a statue or a person? I'm zooming in with the Mac here. This is OS 10 zooming in. So you can't make it out. God damn, that's freaky. I'm being watched. I think that's a shrine. I think it's like, do you know what it looks like? It looks like, yeah, it looks like a statue of like, I don't know, Mary or something. Still weird. Very pretty. Really alien now. It's like we're on the moon or something. It's just so very still, very peaceful. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend you play this game after you've lost a loved one. Maybe some people find this game therapeutic. Maybe. That's just another dead end. Okay, fair enough. We can eliminate that. Is he gonna say something over here? What is that? I have no idea. Soundtrack's pretty cool. So, shall I follow these candles? What do you think? Is he gonna say anything over here? I mean, I'm going over here to see if there's anything vocal worthy. I don't think so. Okay, no. It's
Hall by the roadside, by the exit for Damascus, all ticking and cooled, all feathers and remorse, all of these signals routed like traffic through the circuit diagrams of our guts, those badly written boats torn bottomless in the swells, washing us forever ashore.
The game's missing just one extra bit of gameplay dynamic. It needs just something a little bit extra. It doesn't have that. It's feeling a little bit long, even though it's very short. I think that's why these kind of games will obviously polarize people. I'm certainly not.
From here, I can see my armada. I collected all the letters I'd ever meant to send to you, if I'd have ever made it to the mainland, but had instead collected at the bottom of my rucksack, and I spread them out along the lost beach.
Shit.
Then I took each and every one, and I folded them into boats. I folded you into the creases, and then, as the sun was setting, I set the fleet to sail. Shattered into 21 pieces, I consigned you to the Atlantic, and I sat here until I'd watched all of you sink.
Dude, you are insane. You mean these didn't even get to her? Are you... Well, that's disappointing. Jeez, I thought you were freaking wiring these to her using, I don't know, fucking Morse or something. Bloody hell. So they're all just there in the water. Apparently 21 of them so far. God damn, like you're talking to yourself. Technically so am I right now. Okay, on a sudden... What does that say? On a sudden. This is supposed to be all of a sudden. A light from heaven shone around him, and he fell to the ground. I thought there was some clipping going on there. No clip. I guess I can go up here. I think I know what happens now. Well, it's not a complicated game, like I say, but hats off to the developers. They did produce a game that's...
The pain in my leg sent me blind
compelling.
for a few minutes as I struggled up the cliff path. I swallowed another handful of painkillers, and now I feel almost lucid.
Jesus.
The island around me has retreated to a hazed distance, whilst the moon appears to have descended into my palm to guide me. I can see a thick black line of infection reaching for my heart from the waistband of my trousers. Through the fugue, it's all the world like the path I have cut from the lowlands towards the aerial.
This guy doesn't have a liver left. He's taking so many painkillers. Bit of a drop here. Yep. Some orchestral music.
I've begun my voyage in a paper boat without a bottom. I will fly to the moon in it. I've been folded along a crease in time, a weakness in the sheet of life. Now you've settled on the opposite side of the paper to me. I can see your traces in the ink that soaks through the fiber, the pulped vegetation. When we become waterlogged and the cage disintegrates, we will intermingle. When this paper aeroplane leaves the cliff edge and casts parallel vapor trails in the dark, we will come together.
I hope for your sake that's true. I mean, I didn't realize he was talking to his dead wife. Let's come near. But she's, yeah. Yeah, like
If only Donnelly had experienced this, he would have realized he was his own shoreline, as am I. Just as I am becoming this island, so he became his syphilis, retreating into the burning synapses, the stones, the infection.
Wow, this is really trippy stuff. Yeah, you wouldn't want to play this game if you're suicidal after losing someone. I mean, that would be not good, man. It's, God. It's depressing.
Returning to my car afterwards, hands still shaking, and a head split open by the impact. Goodbye to tearful aunts and traumatized uncles. Goodbye to the phenomenal. Goodbye to the tangible. Goodbye Wolverhampton. Goodbye Sanford. Goodbye Cromer. Goodbye Damascus.
Goodbye, Candid.
This cliff path is slippery in the dew. It is hard to climb with such an infection. I must carve out the bad flesh and sling it from the aerial. I must become infused with the very air.
But as always, that's just one of my harmful opinions. Okay, so up the hill we go. I didn't see, like, besides that statue that could have just been nothing more than a statue, and not an actual NPC, I didn't see any other people walking away from me in the distance. One last look. The moon, see that there? The moon looks a little long. If we look straight on, it goes around. Perspective kind of shifts a little. I mean, it's definitely one of these kind of indie art house games, isn't it?
Blind with panic, deaf with the roar of the caged traffic, heart stopped on the road to Damascus. Paul sat at the roadside, hunched up like a gull, like a bloody gull. As useless and as doomed as a syphilitic cartographer, a dying goat herd, an infected leg, a kidney stone, blocking the traffic bound for Sanford and Exeter. He was not drunk, Esther. He was not drunk at all. All his roads and his tunnels and his paths led inevitably to this moment of impact. This is not a recorded natural condition. He should not be sat there with his chemicals and his circuit diagrams. He should not be sat there at all.
So he wasn't drunk. What was he then? Am I missing something? He definitely sounds like Kraut when he gets angry. Nice touch with the wind against it, because there's the wind coming in. The sound effect of the chain link fence.
I am the aerial. In my passing, I will send news to each and every star.
Dude, you're gonna go splat on the pavement.
Dear Esther, I have burnt my belongings, my books, this death certificate. Mine will be written all across this island.
I'm not in control, by the way.
Who was Jacobson? Who remembers him? Donnelly has written of him, but who was Donnelly? Who remembers him? I have painted, carved, hewn, scored into this space all that I could draw from him.
Him?
There will be another to these shores to remember me. I will rise from the ocean like an island without bottom, come together like a stone, become an aerial, a beacon, that they will not forget you. We have always been drawn here. One day the gulls will return and nest in our bones and our history. I will look to my left and see Esther Donnelly flying beside me. I will look to my right and see Paul Jacobson flying beside me. They will leave white lines carved into the air to reach the mainland, where help will be sent.
Esther Donnelly? I'm confused. I thought Donnelly... Are they related? Donnelly... So, as you can see, I'm now jumping off the cliff. To my death. To fly like a bird. You know, it's a story. It's an interactive story. That's really all it is, you know? It's an interactive storybook, and here we go, flying over the island. It's pretty sad, I gotta say. So I don't think there's necessarily 3 different paths now, because I think we actually went through all of them. But I think there is a few more audio snippets, audio recordings that I may have missed. But you can... Presumably you always come back to the same final path, though. So this bird... Am I the bird now? I can see a bird shadow on the ground. And here's the boats. Making their way to nowhere and turning to mulch. It's good how they gave you a sense of the characters even though nobody appears, which I thought was kind of nice. It just goes to show how well it was told. That's the end of the game by the looks of things, guys. That was Dear Esther, and I completed it in a very short period of time. Probably a little too short, quite honestly. That's a problem. How would I rate the game out of 10, having played it just now for the first time? Boy. You know, just purely based on the fact that it's a fairly unique experience, I'd say probably a 6 out of 10. I mean, obviously some people are going to give it lower than that because it's just not their cup of tea. But for people who like these kind of adventure games, maybe, and they like a kind of an emotional story, I'm going to just hit the mouse button because nothing's happening. Like, okay, there we go. Resume. Oh, did you hear that? That sound that's the, yeah, you can tell it's a Source engine. Yeah, nothing's happening. Well, there you go. I'm going to stop the game. But, yeah, $10. Maybe wait till it's on sale, I guess, if it's on sale again. But I nevertheless enjoyed it. Nice scenery. Let me know your thoughts below. And if you've played this game, what do you think? See you later.